CD Projekt Red have done an incredible job with creating 3 great games, putting us the player in the shoes of Geralt of Rivia as we walk the path of a Witcher and unravel Geralt's personal story along the way. And with the ending of Geralt's story within the final game of The Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt, it leaves to question what could be The Witcher 4. Although the world of The Witcher is vast and full of many well fleshed out and interesting characters that we could play as in the next installment, such as Yennefer, Vesemir or even Trish, taking a step into their lives at a time where Geralt was not present. Granted, at the same time these characters played such a huge role in Geralt's story that I believe a game set in the past or a prequel game would hold up better as a DLC for The Witcher 4 or unique flashback missions within the world that allowed us to step in these characters' shoes for a short moment rather than a whole game dedicated to them. Also, since the Witcher games have Witcher in the title, I believe we should be playing as a Witcher, and with the fact that CD Projekt Red has stated the 3rd installment was the end to Geralt's story, and this was further confirmed by the ending of the Blood and Wine story expansion where Geralt even broke the 4th wall and looked directly at us, the player, which begs the question, where will we get another Witcher from to play as that we know is an important character and still has their whole life ahead of them? Well, the answer is simple. It's Cirilla Fiona Ellen Rhiannon, who we all know as Ciri. One of the endings for The Wild Hunt is where Ciri becomes a Witcher and Geralt teaches her everything he knows, and at this point is where she is at her happiest, since this is the positive ending, with her father now thinking she is dead, which leaves her free to follow her own will, and this is the ending I believe CD Projekt Red should build The Witcher 4 from. Ciri has Elder Blood, which gives her the power to travel worlds by manipulating time and space, and after saving the world in The Wild Hunt, I believe this is the point where she can begin to learn how to master these powers and could be the main plot of The Witcher 4, which will allow us the player to travel to different worlds and times as Ciri. I mean, there is even a point in The Witcher 3 where she explains to Geralt the other worlds she has visited and seen, including an Easter egg for CD Projekt's upcoming game Cyberpunk 2077, which suggests the worlds are connected. The game could start as Ciri being a normal Witcher, killing monsters, earning coin and living her life helping those in need around her, visiting different kingdoms, building new relationships while at the same time experimenting with her powers. As time passes, Geralt sadly dies, and when Ciri learns of the news, she wishes to create a new Witcher school in memory of Geralt, so she sets off to find any remaining Witchers in the continent to help her, while visiting different Witcher schools and ruins in order to find a better way to turn people into Witchers without the pain and risk of dying. Along the way she will find new adventures, new friends and see a few familiar faces. There would also be segments of the game where we do travel to other worlds to see if we can learn anything from them, and in the process Ciri befriends a character from another world who is a man that believes in science and not magic, and she brings him back to her own world in hope of perfecting the trial of the grasses, and in order to do this they will have to visit different worlds and times to experiment with different technologies, potions and magic, which you can imagine may cause some trouble along the way. Now, these segments would be more linear compared to the map in Ciri's own world, since they are mission related rather than being able to fast travel there and back again. If Ciri is successful, she will be remembered as the person who saved Witchers from extinction, because racism aside, if there are no more Witchers, the monsters would run the humans out from their lands and the monster population may increase. And this should be exactly what happens in The Witcher 4, with monster numbers growing as well as increasing in power due to not being tamed by the Witchers, and could play an important part as a contributing factor to why Ciri is trying to rebuild the Witchers and making it less risky to become one, besides the reason for Geralt. This also sets up future Witcher games beyond The Witcher 4, where we the players may be able to create our own characters in a world where Witchers are once again populated throughout the lands, which will also allow once lost schools to rise from the ashes, and maybe it's not just humans that can become Witchers in future games, since we do already have elven Witchers from the School of Cat, and I admit it would be interesting to see a dwarf as a Witcher. Although I am not too sure what the overarching threat would be for Ciri while travelling the worlds and rebuilding the Witcher school, it would most likely come from the Nilfgaardians finding out she is still alive or a threat from another world, but this is where I will leave CD Projekt Red to think of the main villain for the game. But I must say, not every story must save the world from one supreme bad guy, rather yet a story overcoming smaller hurdles along the way could be just as good, saving the witches this time and not the whole world in an urgent single moment. And with the travelling of different points throughout space and time, this would give us the player the opportunity to face new types of monsters as well as threats within other worlds and discover new weaponry, spells, artifacts within unique story missions. This would also be a great way for us the player to learn more about the Witcher schools and uncover the secrets from each of them and the history surrounding them that made them individually unique from other schools, while giving Ciri a motive to use her powers for a quest with good intentions. So, my summary for The Witcher 4 is, Ciri is a fully fledged Witcher. She is exploring and mastering her Elder Blood powers. Geralt dies. Ciri wants to build a Witcher school in memory of Geralt and perfect the Trial of the Grasses to stop witches from dying out. The monster population is increasing and growing in strength due to the dwindling numbers of witches. Ciri visits new lands, ruins and lost Witcher schools. She seeks remaining witches to help her, makes new friends and sees old faces as well as making some enemies along the way. She will travel to different worlds for answers and help to perfect the Trial of the Grasses, bringing back a scientist from another world to help her, faces new monsters and threats outside of her own world, and ultimately saves the witches and finds herself along the way mastering her Elder Blood powers. So, this is what I believe The Witcher 4 could be, since I personally want it to be about Ciri, and with The Witcher ending for Ciri from the Wild Hunt, I believe it is totally possible. We also know a future game will be in the works one day, since CD Projekt Red pretty much hinted at it, but as for now they are focusing on new projects such as Cyberpunk. Now, another idea I would like to throw out there, which is completely another story path, is the fact that Ciri is still fertile, and that it may be possible that we get a game where she has become a mother, and that's all I'm going to say about that for now. Thank you for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and my possible theory for The Witcher 4. I mean, there are so many possibilities, so do let me know what your hopes are for the game in the comments below. I'm PlayedByViks, do consider sticking around for future Witcher content. As for now, take care and I shall catch you guys in the next one.